Here is a video covering each class's passive in Gravedigger. Gravedigger has a total of 7 base classes, but did you know each class has their own passives? You've probably noticed this while playing the game, but here's each passive in detail. Starting in chronological order, we have Soldat. They have the most basic of passives, one being very obvious. Soldat has an additional inventory weight slot, meaning they can carry a secondary, which makes a really good backup, or if they have Survivalist, they can carry 2 primaries. Their second passive is improved handling and aiming. They have a faster draw speed of about 25% and also aim 15% faster. You can see in my examples it's ever so faster. It's not the biggest difference, but it does make a difference in a gunfight. And they've also increased the accuracy by about 10%, although it's really hard to show off and not very noticeable, to be frank. But it is there, and it does make a very slight difference. That's all for Soldat. Now onto my beloved Rook. Rook has a passive of shrapnel armor. They have increased resistances to explosives, which means tin bombs cannot kill a Rook, or any explosive. Although, if you do double up explosives, you can still kill Rooks. Although that's only if they're close. If they're from a certain distance, they're kind of immune to it. They are very protected to explosives. And they're also immune from knockdowns from explosives. You can see in these examples, a Soldat gets knocked down from the Rook nade whenever I shoot him, but the Rook does not. Same applies to all the other weapons that cause this. And this is also technically a passive, but Rook can disarm dynamite. All you have to do is click on it. This makes the Sapper class even more sappery. Next is Mortician. They have 2 passives, the first being Surgery Expertise. They do surgery much faster, and can heal allies to 200 HP instead of 100. You can see in this example, the Soldat does not heal their ally up to 200, but instead to 100. They can also perform surgery on themselves better. What I mean is that they are no longer slowed when performing surgery, although the surgery time is still the same amount of time. They also have a gas mask, meaning they are immune to Jaeger smoke, which inflicts pox if you didn't know, gas traps, and enemy Mortician chemicals, which does come in handy. And fun fact, if you switch on the remove mask and scarf when helmetless setting, and take off your helmet in the customization menu, you actually lose the passive, which is great attention to detail. You no longer have the gas mask, so it doesn't work anymore. I'm kind of surprised they had this. I wasn't really expecting this, and I actually found this by accident, but it's such a weird tiny detail to add, and I love it. Next is Officer. Officer actually has the most amount of passives, surprisingly. First off is the obvious one, Pride. Officers think they're too good to wear a helmet. Any bullet that comes your way, if it hits the head, you're out of the game. Helmets save lives, as they say. So Officer can be one shot by, well, anything. So they are at a disadvantage, although I do believe some of their passives do make up for it. They can be seen from 200 studs away. What I mean is the icon. You'll see these above every single class, although you've probably noticed you can only see them from a certain distance. Other classes will only be seen from about 20 studs, but Officer can be seen from 200 studs, which is a gigantic difference. It means people will probably stay closer to you and head in your direction a lot more, because they know allies are there. They can also see allies up to 200 studs, but only Officer, other classes won't do this. They also have the benefit of capturing points better. They count as 2 people instead of 1, and when capturing a point, more people equals a faster capture rate. And the last one, damage marking. When an officer hits an enemy, they mark the person for 10 seconds. This does not work on Apparition, I just need to add that, but it is a really good passive to have, and it does help a lot. Next, the most hated and the most loved class, Jaeger. Jaegers are dirty people, and they will use any trick they can to get an edge. Their bullets have been dipped into pox, creating pox-tipped bullets. When shot, you will have 20 U of pox applied, which makes recoil more extreme, decreasing accuracy, as well as making you lose the ability to see color. This is extremely annoying and causes a huge disadvantage. You won't be able to tell which light colors are yours or the enemy's. It does wear off after a while. Their melee is also covered in pox, and every time they hit you, they apply 30U of pox. And the next one is sensitive hearing. Jaegers can see the location of a person mining up to 80 studs. How they do this is by a sound cue and a visual marker. It shows the exact location of the person mining, although you kind of have to gauge the distance yourself. They can also detect tunnel rats, but only at half the distance, and they can't detect Geist at all, so if you do get backstabbed by a Geist, don't blame me. And just like the Rook, they can disarm dynamite. But here's a twist, a small little detail. They also regain material when they disarm the dynamite, which shows us that Jaegers are pro recycling. And the last one, which actually kind of relates to sensitive hearing, they can hear dynamite louder than other classes. It's definitely noticeable. Second to last, we have Lancer. Lancer has an indestructible helmet. No weapon can knock it off. Weapons like the Judge or shotguns won't bypass it, but instead knock them down. Although the anti-material rifle doesn't care about your helmet. And the only weapon, minus the anti-material rifle, that can pen it is the crossbow, surprisingly, which goes straight through. No, it doesn't headshot, nor knock it off, it just goes straight through. Which is so dumb and unrealistic. Next, they also have a 30% resistance to melee damage, meaning almost every melee weapon will require an extra hit to kill them. Leatherneck does not stack with this. And lastly, Vanguard. They also have a more armored helmet, but unlike Lancer, it's not as effective. It can stop negotiators, unions, and the Hope, but everything will still knock it off, but at a reduced distance. What I mean is that every weapon's penetration level is actually lowered when shooting a Vanguard's helmet. For example, if weapon is penetration level 2, it will be reduced to penetration level 1, meaning it will have the same distance stats that it can knock it off at. Weapons like the Union were originally level 1, but because of the helmet, they're now level 0, so they won't knock it off at all. Weapons like the Judgment and anti-material rifle obviously don't care. That's all passives. There's technically one more, which is the Engineer, from the long-forgotten Train game mode, which you can only access in a private server. He is helmetless, just like Officer, and has Greyhound built in. I wish they never removed Train game mode, but because you guys' PCs were horrible, it led to this. Well, that's all. I'll see you guys underground.